Welcome back to the channel Rare Coins History. Another exciting journey through the fascinating world of rare coins. Today we're diving deep into one of America's most iconic pieces of currency, the 1973 Washington $quarter coin. This little silver-colored piece of history might look ordinary at first glance, but what if I told you that some of these coins could be hiding an incredible value far beyond their face worth? That's right, somewhere in your old pocket change or coin collection could be a Washington quarter that's worth a life-changing amount of money. So get ready, because we're about to uncover everything about this amazing coin, its story, its design, its hidden details, and how one single coin from 1973 could make you a small fortune. Let's start by taking a trip back in time to the early 1970s. America was in a period of transformation. The Vietnam War was coming to an end, gas prices were soaring, and the American spirit was changing, but one thing remained constant: the Washington quarter still proudly circulated in the hands of millions of Americans, representing liberty and strength. The 1973 Washington quarter was struck at three mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, and while millions were produced, the value of this coin doesn't come from its quantity but from the rarity of certain conditions and mistakes during minting. On the obverse side of this beautiful coin you'll see the familiar and powerful image of George Washington facing left, his stoic expression carved with incredible detail. The word liberty stands boldly above his head, and beneath it the national motto, "In God We Trust." The date 1973 rests quietly at the bottom, marking the coin's year of creation. For most people it's just another quarter, but for coin collectors and numismatists every tiny detail, from the shine of the surface to the sharpness of the letters, matters beyond what most people could imagine. Now flip the coin over and you're met with the magnificent American eagle, wings spread wide, standing proudly on a bundle of arrows symbolizing strength and readiness to defend peace, surrounded by the words United States of America and E Pluribus Unum, and at the bottom the denomination $quarter. The eagle's feathers, the fine lines, and the shine of the surface all tell a story about how carefully this coin was crafted. Even though the composition had shifted from silver to copper nickel a few years before, in 1965, the design continued to represent the spirit of the nation. But here's where it gets really fascinating: not all 1973 Washington quarters are created equal. Some of them were struck with unique minting errors that have become incredibly valuable today. Imagine having a coin where the strike was slightly off-center, or one that shows a double die on the obverse side, causing the letters or numbers to appear doubled. These are the kinds of details collectors dream about, because they transform an everyday coin into a highly sought-after rarity. In some cases you might even find a proof coin from San Francisco with a mirror-like finish that was never meant to circulate. If such a coin escaped into circulation and remained in perfect condition, it could be worth far more than you could imagine. Condition is the real game changer when it comes to value. Most 1973 quarters found in circulation are worn down, their surfaces dulled by years of handling, but finding one that's still in uncirculated condition, or better yet graded by a professional coin grading service as mint State 67 or higher, can send its value skyrocketing. Collectors and investors pay top dollar for coins with their original luster, sharp details, and no scratches, because those are the ones that truly stand out in the numismatic world. Let's not forget about the mint marks either. The small letters that appear just to the right of Washington's ponytail are tiny but crucial. A D means it was struck in Denver, while an S represents San Francisco, and no mint mark means Philadelphia. In most cases the San Francisco proof coins tend to draw more attention from collectors, especially if they've been preserved in pristine condition without any signs of wear or oxidation over the years. One of the most exciting aspects about the 1973 Washington quarter is that some rare varieties and minting errors have been discovered over the years that have completely shocked the coin collecting community. Examples include double die obverse coins, off-center strikes, broad strikes, and even coins struck on the wrong planchets, such as dime or nickel planchets. Each of these minting mishaps transforms the coin into a one-of-a-kind collectible that can bring in thousands of dollars at auction. Think about this for a moment: millions of people handle quarters every day, buying coffee, using vending machines, or paying for parking. But among those billions of coins in circulation, there could be one special piece waiting to be discovered. The thrill of the hunt is what makes coin collecting so exciting, because you never know when you'll find a hidden gem sitting quietly in your change jar. The story of the Washington quarter is also deeply tied to American history. It was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, and has remained one of the most beloved designs in U.S. coinage ever since. By 1973 it had already seen decades of circulation changes in metal composition and evolving minting techniques, but it still held that classic charm that makes it instantly Recognizable today, collectors appreciate it not just for its beauty but for its place in American heritage. So if you're lucky enough to come across a 1973 Washington quarter, don't just spend it, take a closer look, check for any unusual features or mint marks, look at the edges for signs of doubling, examine the surfaces for scratches or luster. If it looks too perfect, it might be a rare uncirculated coin. If it shows a visible error or has sharp bold details, it could be a treasure worth keeping in. Now the moment you've been waiting for. If you happen to find one of these rare 1973 Washington quarter-dollar coins in flawless uncirculated condition or featuring a rare minting error, you could be holding a coin worth an incredible $96,000. Yes, you heard that right, a single quarter worth that much. So before you spend that old change in your drawer, take a moment to look through it carefully, because one small coin could make a huge difference in your life. It's stories like these that remind us that treasure isn't always buried deep underground. Sometimes it's right there in your pocket waiting to be discovered. Today we're diving into another thrilling story from the heart of American coinage, one that hides incredible value in plain sight. We're talking about the 1979 Washington quarter-dollar coin, a piece of metal that many people see every day without realizing it could be worth far more than just 25 cents. The truth is that within this seemingly ordinary coin lies a fascinating story of history, design, and a few rare surprises that have made collectors all over the world hunt for it tirelessly. And what if I told you that one rare 1979 Washington quarter could be worth a life-changing amount of money? Yes, one single coin could hold a fortune waiting to be discovered. So grab your magnifying glass and let's journey into the past to uncover the secrets and hidden value of the 1979 Washington quarter. To understand why this coin is so special, we have to go back to the late 1970s. A time when the United States was going through tremendous change. The decade had seen inflation, a new dollar coin design, the end of the Vietnam War, and shifting economic tides. But through it all, the Washington quarter remained one of the most trusted coins in circulation. The 1979 quarter carried forward a design that had already become legendary, featuring the face of the nation's first president, George Washington, sculpted with elegance and pride. The design first appeared in 1932, and by 1979, it was more than just currency. It was a symbol of America's strength, perseverance, and identity. On the obverse of the coin we see George Washington's portrait facing left, a masterpiece originally created by sculptor John Flanagan. The words "Liberty" stretch above his head, and the phrase "In God We Trust" stands to the side with the date 1979 right below. This image might seem familiar, but each year's minting brings tiny differences in texture, shine, and sharpness that coin experts look for, and in some cases those differences turn into priceless treasures. Now flip the coin over and you'll see the powerful image of the American bald eagle, wings spread majestically as it stands upon a bundle of arrows, its head turned with authority, symbolizing strength and vigilance. The words "United States of America" arch proudly above, while "E Pluribus Unum" and "quarter-dollar" anchor the bottom of the design. It's a timeless symbol that represents freedom and courage, and even though the quarter's composition had changed from silver to a copper nickel-clad years earlier, the design still carried the same weight of national pride. The 1979 Washington quarter was struck in 3 different mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, and each version has unique traits that make it worth examining closely. The Philadelphia mint coins have no mint mark, the Denver coins carry a small d, while the San Francisco mint used the letter S. But here's where it gets truly fascinating: the San Francisco mint also produced proof coins meant for collectors. These proof coins were never intended for everyday circulation. They were struck multiple times with specially polished dies, creating a mirror-like surface that gleams brilliantly when untouched by wear. If you happen to have a proof coin in perfect condition from this year, you could already be holding something worth far more than face value. But the real magic happens when we start talking about minting errors and rare varieties. Some 1979 quarters were struck with double dies where the lettering or numbers appear slightly doubled under magnification. These double die errors can dramatically increase a coin's worth because they are so scarce. There are also reports of off-center strikes, coins struck on the wrong planchet, and even weak strikes where certain parts of the design didn't fully imprint during minting. These imperfections might sound like mistakes, but to collectors they are treasures, each one a one-of-a-kind artifact of history. Condition plays one of the biggest roles in determining a coin's value. The difference between a worn circulated coin and a mint state gem can be staggering. Most 1979 quarters have been through decades of circulation, bouncing from pocket to register, losing their shine along the way. But if you happen to come across one that still has its original luster, razor-sharp details, and a flawless surface, it could be considered a mint state coin. These uncirculated examples, graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, Can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on rarity and condition. Coins graded MS-67 or higher are especially desirable and extremely rare. Let's not forget that the 1979 quarter came at a time when the United States Mint was also experimenting with the Susan B. Anthony dollar coin, and that year's coin production saw transitions in die technology and minting processes. As a result, a few unusual varieties of quarters were unintentionally struck with slight misalignments or planchet variations, and these are now the ones collectors dream of finding because they tell the story of a changing minting era. Each coin carries a fingerprint of history, a subtle difference that separates the extraordinary from the ordinary. When you look at a 1979 Washington quarter, take a close look at the details. Does it have sharp edges around the letters? Is there any doubling on the word Liberty or the numbers in the date? Does it have a mint mark, and if so, which one? Even tiny things like the depth of the strike, the spacing of the letters, or the clarity of Washington's hair can determine if your coin is worth a few cents or a few $1,000s. Coin collecting is all about these little clues, the art of noticing what others overlook, and when it comes to the 1979 quarter, it's all about attention to those fine details. Collectors are drawn to this coin not only because of its potential value but because it represents a piece of Americana. It's a reminder of how everyday objects can tell the story of a nation's journey through time, from economic shifts to changing metal compositions to evolving minting technology. The 1979 Washington quarter is part of that ongoing story, and while millions of them are still in circulation today, finding one in pristine, untouched condition is becoming increasingly rare as years pass. These coins age and wear naturally, and that's why an untouched, uncirculated specimen is like finding a frozen moment in time. So before you spend that handful of quarters or toss them into a vending machine, take a moment to look through them carefully. There's a chance that one of those coins could be something special, a rare error, a proof coin, or an uncirculated gem hiding in plain sight. Who knows, you might be the next person to discover a coin that changes your fortune. And now the moment you've been waiting for. If you happen to come across a 1979 Washington quarter dollar coin in exceptional uncirculated condition, or one featuring a rare minting error, it could be worth an incredible $87,000. Yes, that's right, a single Washington quarter from 1979 could hold a value of $87,000. So keep your eyes open, check your coin jars, search through your pocket change, because that small piece of history you hold might just be your ticket to an unbelievable discovery. Today we're exploring one of the most fascinating coins of modern times, the 1980 United States of America Washington quarter dollar coin, a coin that many people have spent without a second thought, but one that could secretly be worth an astonishing amount of money if you happen to find the right one. Yes, the 1980 Washington quarter has become a hidden gem among collectors, with certain rare examples fetching unbelievable prices that can leave you completely amazed. So let's dive deep into the rich history, beautiful design, and the extraordinary details that could make this simple 25-cent coin worth a small fortune. The year 1980 was a time of transformation in America. It was the dawn of a new decade filled with big dreams, bold styles, and shifting technology. While the world was changing around it, the Washington quarter continued to be a reliable symbol of national pride and everyday life. The quarter was everywhere, in vending machines, laundromats, and parking meters, yet most people never realized that some of these very coins carried something truly special. The United States Mint produced Washington quarters in 3 locations that year: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, each one with subtle but important distinctions that collectors pay close attention to. The coin struck in Philadelphia had no mint mark, while those from Denver bore a small D, and the proof coins minted in San Francisco proudly displayed an S. The San Francisco Mint in particular is famous for producing beautiful proof coins crafted with mirror-like surfaces and razor-sharp details, intended specifically for collectors and not for regular circulation. The design of the 1980 Washington quarter is a timeless classic that has captivated collectors for generations. On the obverse side we see the powerful profile of George Washington, America's first president, facing left, his image sculpted with great care and precision. The word Liberty crowns the top of the coin, while the nation's guiding motto, "In God We Trust," appears just to his left. The date 1980 sits boldly at the bottom. These features have remained nearly unchanged since the quarter's debut in 1932, a tribute to Washington's enduring legacy and the artistry of John Flanagan, who designed the coin nearly half a century earlier. Turn the coin over and you'll find the majestic image of the American bald eagle standing proudly on a bundle of arrows, its wings spread wide and ready. The eagle's sharp gaze and detailed feathers symbolize the Strength, vigilance and freedom of the United States. Surrounding it are the inscriptions United States of America and E pluribus unum with $quarter written across the bottom. Though by 1980 the coin was no longer made of silver, its copper-nickel composition still gleamed with a strength and shine that echoed the spirit of the nation. But what truly makes the 1980 Washington quarter worth so much money today isn't just its history or design, it's the presence of rare variations, minting errors, and extraordinary conditions that turn ordinary coins into extraordinary treasures. Millions of quarters were struck in 1980, but only a handful of them possessed the perfect combination of rarity and condition that sends their value skyrocketing. Some coins were struck slightly off-center, giving them a unique and collectible appearance. Others display doubling on the obverse side, where letters or numbers appear slightly shadowed due to a minting error. And even more valuable are those that were accidentally struck on planchets meant for other denominations, such as nickel or penny planchets, which create unusual weight and color differences. These minting mistakes transform a regular quarter into a one-of-a-kind collectible that coin enthusiasts dream of owning. Condition also plays a critical role when determining the value of any coin, especially for something as modern as the 1980 Washington quarter. The vast majority of these coins have been through decades of circulation, scratched, dulled and worn down from constant use. But if you happen to find one that still gleams like new, untouched by time with sharp details and its original mint luster, you might be holding something truly special. Collectors call these coins uncirculated or mint state, and they are carefully graded by professional services like PCGS and NGC. Coins graded MS67 or higher are particularly rare for this year and command incredible prices at auction-proof. Coins from San Francisco are another story altogether. Struck multiple times with polished dies, they exhibit a mirror-like surface and frosted details that make them stand out even to the naked eye. Most proof coins are kept safely in collector's sets, but every once in a while one escapes into circulation, and if it remains in perfect or near perfect condition, it can fetch far more than anyone would expect. These proof coins serve as beautiful examples of precision craftsmanship from the United States Mint and are treasured for their rarity and beauty. The 1980 quarter also carries a unique place in American history. It represents the transition between the simpler designs of earlier decades and the modern minting techniques that would shape U.S. coinage for years to come. The craftsmanship improved, the details became sharper, and the production quality became more consistent. Yet these very improvements make rare errors from the period even more fascinating because they stand out against an era of precision minting. When an error did happen, it was truly rare and highly collectible. So if you have a jar of coins at home or an old collection passed down from family, now is the time to take a closer look. Pull out those quarters from 1980 and examine them carefully under good light. Look for strong details, crisp edges, any doubling in the date or lettering, or any unusual mint marks. If your coin still shines brilliantly with minimal wear and has that fresh from the mint look, it could be worth sending to a grading service. You never know, your everyday quarter might actually be a valuable piece of numismatic history hiding in plain sight. Coin collectors and investors alike are fascinated by these finds because they combine artistry, historical context, and rarity all in one small coin. The 1980 Washington quarter reminds us that even in modern times, treasure hunting isn't just for pirates or adventurers. It's something you can do right from your own change drawer. And that's what makes this hobby so exciting, the thrill of discovering something extraordinary in the most ordinary of places. And now for the most exciting part: if you happen to find a 1980 Washington $quarter coin in exceptional uncirculated condition, or one featuring a rare minting error, you could be holding a coin worth an astounding $93,000. Yes, you heard that right, a single 1980 Washington quarter can be valued at $93,000, making it one of the most surprising treasures in American modern coinage. So the next time you're sorting through your change or rolling quarters to take to the bank, stop for a moment and check those dates carefully, because you might just be holding a small piece of American history that's worth far more than you ever imagined. Remember to like this video. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and overlooked treasures of modern American coinage, the 1985 United States of America Washington $quarter coin, a simple 25-cent piece that millions of people have handled without a second thought. Yet hidden among those ordinary coins are rare and extraordinary examples that could be worth a life-changing fortune. This story is about how a coin you might carry in your pocket right now could hold a hidden value so stunning it could make you question every quarter you've ever spent. So sit back and let's journey through the history, design, and incredible details of this legendary 1985 Washington quarter. The year 1985 was a turning point in American life. The nation was thriving under new economic reforms. Technology was beginning to shape the future, and the minting process at the United States Mint was advancing rapidly. But through all That change, one symbol of consistency, remained the Washington quarter, a coin that had already been in circulation for over 50 years, carrying the proud image of the nation's first president, George Washington. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to celebrate the 200th anniversary of Washington's birth, and by 1985 it had become a permanent fixture in American currency, a daily reminder of leadership strength and the nation's enduring spirit. The obverse side of the 1985 quarter proudly features the distinguished portrait of George Washington facing left. Designed by the talented sculptor John Flanagan, the word Liberty is inscribed boldly across the top, while the national motto "In God We Trust" appears just to the left of Washington's profile, and the date 1985 sits neatly at the bottom. Though this design had appeared for decades, it continued to captivate collectors with its timeless elegance, the fine details in Washington's hair, the depth of his features, and the sharp edges of the lettering tell a story of craftsmanship and national pride. Flip the coin over and you'll see one of the most iconic images in all of American coinage, the magnificent bald eagle perched confidently on a bundle of arrows, its wings spread wide ready to take flight. This powerful image symbolizes the strength, protection, and freedom of the United States. Surrounding it are the words United States of America and E Pluribus Unum, meaning out of many one, and at the bottom the denomination quarter dollar. Though the coin was no longer made of silver by 1985, the copper nickel composition still gave it a durable shine and weight that felt substantial in your hand. Now let's talk about what really gets collectors excited: rarity and condition, because those two factors can transform an everyday coin into a hidden treasure. The 1985 Washington quarter was minted in large numbers at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, and a smaller number of proof coins were produced at the San Francisco Mint. For collectors, the Philadelphia quarters carry no mint mark, while the Denver coins have a small D mark just beside Washington's ponytail, and the proof coins proudly display an S for San Francisco. But within these mintings are subtle variations and fascinating mint errors that can make all the difference in value. Some of the most valuable 1985 quarters ever found were struck with unique minting errors that make them one-of-a-kind collectibles. Imagine a coin where the strike is slightly off-center, creating a misaligned image, or a coin struck on the wrong planchet, such as a dime planchet, resulting in a thinner, lighter coin. Those rare minting mistakes make each coin completely unique and highly desirable to collectors. Another sought-after feature is a double die error, where parts of the design, such as the date or lettering, appear doubled under magnification. These small imperfections are actually treasures in disguise because they occur so rarely and often by accident. At the mint condition is another critical factor when determining value. Most 1985 quarters have been through decades of circulation, tossed in pockets and drawers, exchanged thousands of times, and worn down over the years. But if you come across one that still shines with its original mint luster, shows sharp details and no signs of wear, then you may have found something special. Collectors prize coins that are uncirculated or graded mint state, especially those certified by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. Coins graded MS-67 or higher are incredibly rare and can command astonishing prices at auction. Sometimes the difference between a coin worth $1 and one worth tens of thousands is simply the sharpness of its strike and the perfection of its surface. Proof coins from the San Francisco Mint deserve special mention. These coins are crafted using polished dies and specially treated blanks struck multiple times to produce mirror-like surfaces with frosted details. They were never meant for general circulation, but sometimes proof coins escape their sets and find their way into everyday use. If you ever find a 1985 quarter with a glossy mirror finish and razor-sharp details, it's worth setting aside immediately, because proof coins in flawless condition can be worth hundreds or even thousands depending on rarity. The 1985 Washington quarter also represents a fascinating time in minting history when technology was improving but not yet perfect. This transition period makes errors from this year even more interesting because they mark the growing pains of modernization in the minting process. Collectors love coins from this era because they tell a story of change, precision, and the human touch behind every coin produced. But beyond its numismatic value, the Washington quarter itself carries a legacy that runs deeper than money. It has been part of American life for generations, used in schools, toll booths, diners, and laundromats, and yet among billions of these familiar coins, some carry a secret that only the sharp-eyed and curious will discover, and that's what makes coin collecting so thrilling: the chance that a simple coin in your hand could hold untold value, the possibility that something so common could actually be incredibly rare. So if you've got a handful of quarters sitting in a jar or an old collection tucked away, now is the time to take a closer look. Examine each coin carefully, especially the ones from 1985. Look at the edges for any unusual color or thickness. Inspect the details on Washington's portrait. Check for doubling in the date or letters or a slightly off-center design. Even a faint minting error can turn an average coin into a collector's prize, and if the coin looks flawless, untouched and gleaming, it might be time to send it for grading, because that small coin could be worth far more than you ever imagined. And now the part you've been waiting for. If you happen to find a 1985 United States Washington $quarter coin in perfect uncirculated condition or with a rare minting error, it could be worth an incredible $82,400. Yes, you heard that right. A single 1985 Washington quarter can be valued at $82,400, turning a simple piece of pocket change into an extraordinary treasure. So before you spend that old quarter, take a closer look, because you might just be holding a small piece of American history worth more than gold. Today we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating modern coins in circulation, the 2023 United States of America Washington $quarter coin. A coin that is surprising collectors and experts alike with some of the rarest varieties and errors ever discovered in recent minting history. And by the end of this video, you'll be shocked to learn how one single quarter from 2023 managed to sell for an unbelievable amount that will leave you speechless. Let's start from the beginning, because every coin has a story, and the 2023 Washington quarter has one that truly stands out in modern numismatics. By 2023, the U.S. Mint had already transitioned into the new American Women Quarters program, which honors influential women in American history. However, even though the designs on the reverse of the quarters changed every few months, the obverse, the front side, still carried the proud portrait of George Washington, the first President of the United States. But this was not the same Washington portrait we've known for decades. The Mint decided to use the original design created in 1931 by Laura Garden Fraser, an incredibly talented sculptor whose version was once rejected in favor of John Flanagan design. Finally, nearly a century later, her masterpiece took its rightful place on the nation's most recognized coin, giving the 2023 Washington quarter a refreshing and historical touch that collectors absolutely love. Now, 2023 quarters were minted at three main U.S. Mint locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia coins carry no mint mark, the Denver coins bear a D, and the San Francisco issues have an S. While the Philadelphia and Denver coins are meant for everyday circulation, the San Francisco quarters are primarily struck for collectors in proof and special uncirculated sets. Most of these coins are made with the modern copper-nickel clad composition, but the proof versions can also come in a beautiful 99.9% silver finish, giving them that stunning mirror-like shine. Yet, even among the billions produced, certain rare variations and minting mistakes from 2023 have made some of these coins far more valuable than anyone expected. You see, not every coin leaves the mint perfectly. During the high-speed production process, even the slightest mechanical issue can create rare errors that collectors crave. Some 2023 quarters have shown fascinating die cracks, small raised lines caused by fractures in the minting die, giving the coin a one-of-a-kind pattern. Others have been discovered with off-center strikes, missing elements in the design, or even double dies, where parts of the text or Washington's image appear slightly doubled because of a misalignment during striking. These rare features turn ordinary coins into exceptional treasures because they tell the story of imperfection and chance in an otherwise precise process. There are also transitional planchet errors, where a coin is struck on a blank intended for another denomination, or the wrong metal composition is used. Imagine a 2023 quarter struck on a nickel or dime planchet. The weight, size, and details would all be slightly off, creating a piece that collectors are willing to pay thousands for. Even the slightest difference in strike pressure, surface texture, or finish can dramatically impact value. That's why serious collectors always check their coins closely under magnification, paying special attention to areas like Washington's hair, the words "In God We Trust," and the details around the edges and lettering. A small doubling, crack, or die break could be the key to unlocking a hidden fortune. Another reason 2023 quarters have gained huge attention is their variety of reverse designs. Each coin features a different American woman who made history, from Bessie Coleman, the first African American and Native American woman pilot, to Edith Kanakali, a cultural icon from Hawaii, to Eleanor Roosevelt, one of the most influential first ladies of all time. Each design carries deep historical meaning and artistic uniqueness, and collectors are eager to complete their sets. But what's truly amazing is that certain errors only appear on specific designs, making them even rarer and more desirable. For instance, an off-center Bessie Coleman quarter or a double-die Eleanor Roosevelt quarter could fetch incredible prices if found in top condition. Now let's talk about condition, because in the world of coin collecting, it can make or break a coin's value. The majority of 2023 quarters you find in your change are circulated, meaning they've already been through thousands of hands, collecting scratches, nicks, and dulling of their original shine. However, if you come across one that looks brand new, with sharp details, reflective surfaces, and no visible marks, it might be a mint state coin. These coins, when graded MS66 or higher by professional grading companies like PCGS or NGC, can already command serious premiums. Combine that with a rare mint error, and the value skyrockets. It's like winning the collector's lottery. Many coin enthusiasts have started closely examining their 2023 quarters because stories have been emerging from all over the country of people finding valuable specimens in their everyday change. The excitement of discovering one of these coins is incredible. Imagine realizing that a coin you got back from a vending machine or grocery store is actually worth more than a luxury vacation. This is what makes coin collecting such an exciting adventure: the thrill of the hunt, the history in your hands, and the chance of uncovering something truly extraordinary. So the next time you get change, don't just toss your quarters aside. Take a closer look. Check the edges, inspect the mint mark, and pay attention to even the smallest imperfections. You never know when one of these seemingly ordinary coins could turn out to be something extraordinary, because hidden among the millions of common coins might just be that one rare 2023 Washington quarter that collectors dream about, one that could make a huge difference in your life.